Good morning, precious people. Here we are together. It's another fresh day. I'm so thankful for your irreplaceable light and the experience and wisdom that you bring into the world. Today is a gift filled with possibility, so let's open it with kindness and curiosity. We're all still growing and learning, so grab your nearest drink and let's check in with ourselves. Today is Saturday. I treated myself to some whipped cream on my coffee. I don't know if you can see that. So yummy. Scoochie. Let's check in with ourselves. Let's do a little breath. Okay, you breathe in with me. And according to my affirmations, my Neurocycle this week, let's breathe in love, like breathe in all the love you can, and just breathe out any sort of judgment you're having or self-critique, whatever. Okay, you ready? Yeah, you just breathe that out. Get that out. And get the coffee in. So yummy. I am going to go through this week. Today's a recap episode, what we talked about this week. I swear, I put too much on here. When I was putting it on, I knew as I was putting it on that it was going to be a lot. But who knew this was going to be just an episode of watching me eat whipped cream? Maybe I should. Some people make millions having people watch them eat. I'm like, maybe I should just do an eating episode. I'm just kidding. I really just wanted to treat myself because I got the job I applied for yesterday, and now the next hurdle is getting through the background check, which shouldn't be a problem for me. And then they'll give me my training start date. So that's where I'm going to have the Lord make the real decision, because I have a vacation in April and again in May. So this is February. So really, I wouldn't want to start any time before June 3rd. And I don't know if they're going to offer training classes that far in advance. So if I can have a training class, and training is 3 weeks, and if it can fit between my 2 trips, April 18th to like May 20th or something, if I could have the training in that time period and then somehow figure out how to give my shifts away for my vacation, I don't know. We'll see. So we'll see how it works out. This is where I trust God to open doors and close doors where I'm not supposed to be. So I am trusting God to take care of that. So what I talked about last Sunday, the first thing I talked about this week was what's happening in Florida. What I forgot to tell you was that we have a new state bird, and I'll give you a second to see if you can guess what our state bird is for Florida. If you live here, you probably think it's a sandhill crane. Those birds are 4 feet tall, 5, I don't even know. They come up to here on me. I'm kind of short though. And they always come in like pairs of 2, and they're so loud, and they'll go like this and they'll look right at you. So I was like, maybe it's a sandhill crane. No. Then I was like, a bald eagle. I've seen so many bald eagles since I've moved here. But then, of course, we always have like roadkill and dead animals and stuff out in the fields, and there's always vultures and carrion kind of birds. I'm like, maybe it's a vulture. But no, it's a flamingo. We have a new state bird. I think it used to be a mockingbird was the state bird, but now it's a flamingo. So yay, Florida. That makes sense. I like it. But then there's the Cocoa Beach Air Show coming up in April, which I would love to go to. It's free if you're anywhere around Cocoa Beach. It might be worth it. The Blue Angels are flying, so it'll be worth it to check it out. We had some legislation pass the Florida House this week where they're trying to get rid of property taxes except for the school tax on property tax, which would save people thousands of dollars a year. We already get a homestead exemption, reduction in our taxes. Now it's going to the Florida Senate for approval. So once it passes the Senate, I believe DeSantis can sign it into law. Lord Jesus. I'm like, what a blessing that would be to so many people, especially elderly who have they're living on their pensions or Social Security. Their house is paid off, but they're still like pretty much renting their own house from the government. So great news. I'm so happy about that. Zuckerberg is moving to Florida from California. There was somebody else I just saw this morning. Wish I would have remembered. Someone else is moving here, is a big famous person. Then I talked about fasting because this week Ramadan began. I believe people are right in Lent now, or maybe Lent started this week also. I was doing a fast for protection for my husband since he was out of the country all week. He's down in South Africa. So I talked about fasting and the health benefits and the history behind fasting. That one I talked about on Monday. So if you're interested, you could go back and watch that episode. Then I talked about a neurocycle. And that's where you work through these 5 steps every day, quick, like 7 to 10 minutes in the morning. First thing, work through your 5 steps for 63 days. So that's 9 weeks. It's like 3 cycles of 3 weeks. And you, at the end of that 5 steps, you develop this mantra that you say to yourself 7 times a day. And it's your neurological, like bicycle. So you're training yourself. You're like on this bicycle to kind of like get the negative, toxic thoughts out. And then I talked about how your neurons grow, and what you think about grows. What you like, that negative, toxic thought, you can have a replacement thought. So when you find yourself thinking this thing, you're like, no, I have something already ready to interrupt that thought pattern and destroy that little piece of tree that's growing off your neurons. You can like squash it. Let's see. So the Neurocycle, which is by, I have to say, Dr. Caroline Leaf. And you can go to her website. It's Dr. Leaf, which is DRLEAF.com. Search through her articles on there, her episodes. You can find her probably on YouTube. Just such a sweet lady, and very, the book that I had shown this week has scriptures in it, and it's uplifting. It's based in science and the Bible. Highly recommend. Check out any of her works, anything you want. Go to the library. You don't even have to buy a book. Just get some from the library. If you have I had a Nook, Barnes & Noble Nook, an e-reader. I still have it. I just don't use it anymore. But that was so nice because I love books. But where do you put all of them? I mean, we all have limited space. I love books. I love paper books. I love having the book. And that's why I like the library, because I don't have to buy a book, store a book, keep a book, move a book. put a book in a tub. I have tubs of books out in the garage. I'm like, I don't need any more. Library, thank you. Thank you for letting me just read the information, get what I need, and send it back. So after neurocycling, I talked about making a dopamine menu. So I still have mine here. A dopamine menu, and that was, let's see, so that would have been Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday that I talked about my dopamine menu. It's just, and this isn't a typical dopamine menu. I wanted like a big rainbow. I love rainbows. I love smiley faces. Should have put a little smiley face. I should have made my son bigger. I didn't know how much space I was going to need, so I painted this first. Then my daughter and I, we went through and we're like, what do we love doing? What makes us feel good? What gives us those hits of dopamine? So I used my little label maker. I printed out everything. Then I organized them in groupings of, well, I'll just show you. I grouped them like these are kind of spiritual, I feel like, or memory sort of things. Researching a topic, creative writing, photo albums, devotional reading, and journaling. I love doing all those things. Those feel like kind of creative but emotional, like brain tickly kind of things I could do. Then I did like self-care kind of stuff, pampering myself, planning a trip, face care and showering. Sometimes you just, it's not like your morning or evening shower, you're the one you do every day or every other day, your routine, but like just a extra little loving myself, kind of like run the water extra hot or extra cold. I did read, like, if you shock yourself with a cold shower, it releases endorphins and serotonin. Like, some, if you're feeling like down in the dumps, you're sitting there on the couch, and I couldn't remember this word this week, binge watching. If you're just like binge watching or doom scrolling, you're like, I really should do something. Just get in the shower, shock yourself, and then you'll have like a little boost of energy, and then you can jump into something else, hopefully. Home improvement, redecorating, organizing, gardening, cleaning. I actually love these things. When I love seeing something dirty and then it's clean, or something that I normally just wipe down but do deep clean. Then I know in my head I get that little brain munch where it's like something so good just happened. I'm like, oh, my baseboards are clean. I'm not like a clean freak, I don't think, but I do when I can kind of treat myself like with a deep clean of one little area where it's not taking my whole day or wiping me out, but it does give you that little boost. Like, I'm going to reorganize my silverware drawer. Easy. And then it's like, oh, it looks so nice. The feeling you get right after that is great. Then I have my creative kind of things, coloring, cooking, a project, sewing, baking, and art. Something to get outside with. Sunshine, exercise, stretch, walk, dance, or swim. I have a pool, a community pool I could go to. I've lived here over 3.5 years, and I've been to the pool 3 times. I'm like, no excuse. It's completely free. It's right down the street, but that's okay. If I need it, it's there. So it's on my menu. These are kind of like things that are expensive, that going to Disney or shopping or movies, a spa day. I've not had a spa date in about 20 years, probably. Maybe before that, I don't. Oh yeah, before that, my husband bought me one for Valentine's Day, maybe 10 years ago. These are sweet. These are things you do with other people. A 20-second hug, call a friend. Sometimes you really need to hear somebody's voice. Volunteer or play games with somebody. So that's my dopamine menu. I'm sure you might have something else, especially if you have kids. Actually, this would be something fun to do with kids. I think I mentioned that in my video this week too. You kids are like, I'm bored. Blah, blah, blah. Well, pick something off the menu. Why don't you? And have things on there, maybe, like a domino game that they really like that they don't really play with. Sometimes you forget what you have in your house. Kids will forget. what they can do. And so, like, hey, look, yeah, you guys play a game of dominoes. Let's see. So dopamine menu. Then I talked about how your brain filters information. You have two main filters. One that just kind of filters out background noise and it focuses on what is important. Look at that little, I always have something like that going on. One that filters background noise. Then you have another filter that's more like a glitch in your operating system, which everyone has this, and it's like a negativity filter. For one critique, you need 10 compliments to overcome it. But there's ways, there's tricks, and I talked about these tricks on how you can turn that thinking around. So yeah, if you're interested in looking, if you have some extra time, go back and watch that episode. Let me just pull it up. I think I have a few minutes here. How to combat it, how to check your filters. Yeah, you can, well, there's a few different ways. I wrote down a whole bunch. When you feel a negative filter taking over, stop and ask, if a stranger were watching this scene, what would they record on video? So you're like, just the facts. Let's get the emotional piece out of this thought that I'm having. What actually just happened? If someone was watching this happen, what would they see happen? Put words to your feelings too. Like, I really felt disrespected. And you can tell these to yourself out loud. There's science behind talking to yourself out loud, naming your feelings, and then processing them out loud. Like, I felt so disrespected. I didn't deserve to be talked to that way. I'm an actual good person. I was doing my best. They must have not known that this and this happened. You can talk it out to yourself, and actually it's very healing. So yeah, what would an outside observer see? Let's see. Draw a T chart, which is a line across the top and a line down the center. Have your negative thought, you put negative thought above the line, and what do you put? Evidence to the contrary. So negative thought, I am dumb, or whatever like negative toxic thought you could have. Like, what was proof against that I am dumb? I am a successful employee. I earned an award for my work. My children respect and love me. Like, I pay all my bills on time. Things that a dumb person wouldn't do. You can fight that. So it's 3-1 at least, and you could probably find 10 things to prove that you're not a dumb person. If that's what you're fighting. Let's see. And the last thing I talked about yesterday was this cute little phone line you can call. It's called Pep Talk. I believe you can go to their website, peptalk.org, and it's PEPTOC. And there's a phone number on there you can call. And you can call and let your kids choose the option of what they want to hear. It's like kids laughing, compliments on your appearance, things like that. It's really cute. I loved it. And then there was another one called Ideas for Positive Living. That one has inspirational stories, jokes, and affirmations. So call those phone numbers if you need a little boost, or have your kids do it so they can have fun. One more thing, and then I'll get going. It was the updates to the Starbucks rewards program I talked about yesterday. That is changing on March 10th. If you have stars, use them. Use them now. So if anything sparked a thought, go ahead and leave a comment or a like. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be great. Thank you. The world is better with your light in it. So keep growing and learning. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye. Have a good weekend.